There it is. Okay. Here I am, back again. As you can see, nothing's changed. Here's the date that we got on MTV. We're on MTV anyway, but here's the date, Monday, 3/10, and it's 1:01 p.m. And that's just to verify it. Anywho, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Now I'm going to take you to the garage and physically show you what the changes are going to be for the motorcycles of the future. Okay, and we're cutting right now. Make sure this all worked out. Okay, I'm going to be using my YZ125 Yamaha as an example of what my idealism is. My glasses put in safety case. So normally how this works, I have this one taken apart and building it right now, and that's how I came up with the idea. I came up with the idea 3 days ago, actually. I think it was 2 or 3 days, or it was yesterday morning, actually, before I went riding. About 9 o'clock in the morning. I had taken my bike apart, and the tank was off, and in wheeling it, it felt extremely light. And I was thinking, you know, it'd be neat to get the weight of the gas tank and the gas a lot lower in the center of gravity of the bike, because the bike felt so light. So what I came up with is the gas tank is actually going to turn into a pressurized air box for ram air, and it'll be a little different configuration. And what we need, and taking the tank off, is for the frame to be redesigned. We're going to need this area in here, so I'm thinking of a higher bend bar that comes in the frame area. Your cylinder fits here, and out back comes your carburation. This is hooked up to the engine itself, so you have your cylinder here. It normally comes to about this height. So what we need to do is develop room in this area, which is just redesigning the frame. For the carburation can probably still sit here, and or if it needs to, it can go back on the cylinder. Either way, it would be fine. What we need is for the intake boot to curve up over and come into the air box in this area. And or, I was thinking, you could even have carburation up above the cylinder, if you were to have the carb up in this area, and then have it hooked directly into the pressurized air box, which would be the tank at that point in time, with ram air, which just comes in. This could be actually like the ram air induction right here. You give the bikes more horsepower, and it'd be a new age way of doing this. I believe this is going to be the bike of the future. Now the air box normally sits right here, which it is, which is under the seat. And as you can see, it's a lower area. So I was thinking gas tank coming up in this area next to the shock, filling this area, perhaps coming across with a cap here. And what you'd have is your phony tank, which is actually a ram air box. And here you could have a panel that opens up one way or another, comes off, with your filler cap for gas. You'd be putting all the weight back over the rear of the tire underneath you in this area, which would make the front end a lot lighter. Plus you'd be inducing ram air into the engines, which are fuel injected, which would give you quite a bit more horsepower. And this is for all dirt bikes and dual sports and that sort of machinery. Now on street bikes, I have an idea for them as well. We're going to go over to the street bike and supermotos. Now, for the street bikes, and I thought of this a long time ago, to bring the weight down on these and have these bike of the future, what we need to do, this one's not taken apart, so it's going to be a little bit different, is same thing. This already has a good ram air induction system. The tank actually could still sit here. This can become a glove compartment or whatever you want it to be. The gas tank just becomes actually nothing. In place of it is below the fairing. Oh, that's incorrect. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was doing. The exhaust normally runs out the heads and underneath the bike and then up this way. So you have a little less weight here than you do with fuel up here. So my idea is to run the exhaust in a way that might be up through the frame and up through this area. And also the ram air can be part of the cooling system on the exhaust if there's a collector where the gas tank is. Gas tank can work also as an exhaust collector, a compartment for the exhaust to run through, and a glove box. And and then the exhaust would run down and through and possibly just right out the back, right through this area. Underneath the seat and up through where the tanks be. The gas tanks in the future will be actually in this area, underneath the bike, bringing all the weight of the bike that the gas normally holds, which is a lot of weight, closer to the center of gravity, and puts it on the bottom of the machine. This is something the motorcycles are lacking at this point in time. So anyway, that's my two design ideas, and we're going to be getting a international patent lawyer, and this is what the bikes of the future are going to be. Matthew George. For the closeout of my invention on getting the international patent rights to my frame idea is I originally came up with this idea with street bikes. I've road raced for many years. Started back in the early 80s, excuse me, was one of the top runners in the AFM. And it wasn't quite that far back. I think it was, I don't have the actual date, but I could pass a lie detector on this. I thought of moving the gas tank to the bottom of the road race machines and rerouting the exhaust. Well, that would have been apparent. And I got onto other projects at that point in time, and my mind got off of it, but now I'm on it and I'm going to patent the idea. I believe it was in between a year and a half ago and 2 years ago that I originally came up with this idea. And then yesterday morning, which was Sunday morning, the 9th, it was about 9 o'clock or so, I went out to move my motorcycles around and discovered that it would be a fantastic idea. Looked at the bike briefly and it just popped into my head. So that's everything I have to say. The idea's been bouncing around my head for a long time. And looking at motorcycles, you know, I've been around motorcycles since 1970, been a racer, a lover, and a rider of them. And I know for a fact, there's no doubt in my mind, that my ideas are the motorcycles of the near future.